Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Crossway has sent me a box of Heirloom editions in the ESV. They've sent the Alpha, the Gloria Dei, and the Veritas. I've already looked at the Alpha in my first impressions video. So next I'm going to look at one of these two. Let's go ahead and look at Veritas just because it's right there. So this will be my first impressions, and my full review will be done at BibleBuyingGuide.com. So what this is a calfskin Grenada. It's calfskin Grenada. So let's take a quick look here. These come in very elegant boxes. These are thick, very thick. I like this, and it's not as hard to open as I'm making it out to be. That's just a me thing. So the Veritas edition is designed to make the truth of God's Word eminently readable, featuring an inviting page layout with generous single column typesetting. So a lot of this is just some marketing speak, but we'll see here if I can get this open. Surely I can open a box on camera. I've done it before. Maybe once. All right, this one's in there. Alright, here we go. So the box inside looks good, looks elegant. There's a little pledge card, very thick card. Printer, Youngblood, which is obvious from the last one I saw. Typography, 9.2 lexicon font. Leather is full grain, aniline dyed. Paper is 28 GSM Indopaque. This is the French paper. Binding is Smythe sewn. Casing is edge lined. Layout is single column. Gilding is red over gold. And I'm sure it will look amazing because the last one did. And I hardly ever mention that they come in these wrappings, but they do. All of these premium editions come in these fancy wrappings, and I just take them off and hardly ever mention them again, but there we go. It's pretty. Let's go ahead and open this one. So that feels very floppy. I like that. Okay, so they call this just a Grenada calfskin. It looks burgundy to me. I like that size. That's a good size. That's a very good size. Let's compare that over here to our Alpha that we saw a minute ago. Quick look at the Alpha. Here's how the sizes compare. So zoom. So there's the sizing. Which I would rather carry. I like this Alpha size. That's a good size. But if I'm looking for a certain layout or something, then I might have to go with the Veritas. So let's look at the Veritas. And as you can see, single column layout with a little bit of a margin. Let's see, we've got a 3/4 inch margin, almost 7/8 inch margin on the outside. Reminds me a lot of the Heritage, which is one of my favorite Bibles of all time. It's about the same size too. Let's look. 5 3/4 by 8.5 by 1 and just a touch over 1.5. Just a hair over 1.5. And that's the overall size, which I give because trim size doesn't help you if you're trying to find a box to put this in, or a case to put this in, or making sure that it fits in your backpack or something like that. You need the overall size. And it weighs 2 pounds, 5.3 ounces. This one feels smooth and soft. It feels soft. And it also feels very floppy. I'm not a fan of floppy Bibles, but I suspect that this shape is not too bad for floppy. Yeah, that rolls over with no trouble, and in fact it feels like it's wanting to roll over on its own. The 28 GSM paper is silky smooth. I love that paper. Some don't like it because it's so thin, but I think sometimes, not always, sometimes people are confusing this 28 GSM with a different 28 GSM, which is not a premium paper. This is a premium paper, titanium pigment and a smooth coating. Oh, it feels like silk. So there is the liner. It's also the burgundy. Actually, it's more like a red. Well, I mean, it's got a lot of brown in it. I'm gonna say it that way. It's got a lot of brown. There's the edge line tab. There's the gold gold line around the inside. And then we've got brown ribbons that are silky, double-sided. Look really nice. Made in the Netherlands. Several end sheets. Presentation pages. Marriages, births, adoptions, and then deaths. Now this one seems to be staying open a little better than that Alpha did. Just a touch better. The Alpha will stay open after you've used it enough, but this one's a little bit more elegant too. A lot more white space. In fact, this looks like the Heritage. I'm just going by memory, so I'm not going to call this the Heritage, but I will compare it to the Heritage, which I don't have available to me right now. But we have single column. We have, and it's line matched around, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 12 to 14 words per line. It's going to range, it's going to vary, but that's not bad. And then we've got footnotes in the bottom. Verse numbers, I'm having a little trouble finding them quickly. They're large enough, but they don't seem as bold as they did in the Alpha. The Alpha, they stood out just a little bit. These are not standing out much, so I'm having a little bit of trouble finding them quickly. So if I'm looking for verse numbers, I might have a little bit of difficulty here. It does have some extra space in the inner margin to bring that text out on the flat part of the page, which I like. Poetry looks good. Poetry looks better in single column. It just does. Because you have more line. You just got more line space for it. That's one reason I like single column. Or that's one reason I like this many words on a page, on a line. It doesn't matter how many columns are on the page as long as the text fits it. And this fits it. It's usually single column if you're talking about a poetry. But that looks really nice. I like the look of that. And I'm sure also we have black letter for this one. Just like the other one. Yeah, black letter. This looks good. That's sharp. Super sharp. Show through is a little more noticeable in this one. I think it might be because of possibly the font is darker. I'm not sure of that. I know there's more ink on the page because it's a larger font. Maybe that's it. I think that's it. Also, this one, the Veritas has more white space between the lines, and I don't know. I think this one, I think the Alpha is a little bit more condensed. It's not tight, but it's a little bit more condensed, and it doesn't have much space for show through at all, where we have more white space here in the Veritas. So we've got more space for the show through to appear, to be visible. So it's a little bit more obvious to me in the places where the white space is, but it's not obvious behind the text. Yeah, maybe it is a little bit. Just a little bit. In this lighting. Just a little. But only because I'm looking for it. And it could just be this lighting. It's not bad. I don't want to say that it's bad. It is not. It looks good. I can read this all day. That is fine. That is extra good. All right, see in the back we have table of weights and measures. A few pages for notes. That's the thin regular Bible paper, and then we have our maps. These are the muted colors or softer colors. It doesn't seem to have an index. Let's see. I think I skipped a map here. There we go. For the most part, they're easy enough to read, like this one. This one, though, has a little bit more on there, a little bit more happening in the background, so it might be a little more difficult to find, but not difficult. It's not bad. The Veritas. Calfskin leather. Now, I would not have guessed that. I think I would have guessed that was a cowhide if I was guessing, because of the grain. I would have guessed that to be a cowhide, but they're calling this a calfskin, and cowhide most likely is going to be a thicker or a more stiff leather. This is a very floppy, flimsy, not flimsy, but not thin. It's a thick leather, but it's, as you can see, it's very malleable, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I like the look of that. So that is my quick look at the Veritas. I will place some links in the notes so that you can make a purchase if you're interested. Also, this is just my first impressions, so any opinions here is liable to change. But after I use it for a while, I always use the Bibles for a little bit, and then I come back and write a written review at BibleBuyingGuide.com. So that is my first look in video, and stay tuned for the written review. Thanks.